Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Jen and this is Fundy Fridays, and here on my channel I talk about different aspects of Christian fundamentalism, American conservative politics, pop culture, and gay stuff. And today I am taking it easy and I'm going to be reacting to a few random Duggar vlogs, some that I had heard, some interesting things about, and originally I was going to react to Lydia Plath being on the Ginger and Jeremy podcast. But when I sat down to record that, I noticed that they hadn't actually uploaded that yet. And so when they do, I will react to that. But I needed an easy episode today because James and I have been going through it, man. He is going to get his gallbladder removed in 2 weeks, and we've been dealing with our insurance, and it's just been a whole bullshit experience. And if you hadn't been keeping up, we'd been battling copyright with the Linda McMahon episode. Finally, James got an episode out that was the same episode, except for he couldn't use any clips from any of the wrestling. So he had to just describe it. And I worked really, really hard on a Phyllis Schlafly episode, and it's doing well, except for I got copyright claimed last week from AP News UK, and yes, we are fighting that copyright claim, but it's still in escrow, as they call it, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna make any money from that episode. So they released it this morning, actually, so grid bless, and thank you, Michelle. We needed to get something out just so it could sit on the channel and hopefully allow us to have some time to take care of things in our real life, and it's just been wild. Let's jump in. Since the last time we talked, probably last summer, there's been a lot of Duggar marriages, and it's like the Lost Boys' turn to get married, so there's been quite a few. Let's see if we can lightning round. Jana was married last August to Stephen Wisman. It seems like they had a fairly normal relationship for Fundy standards. I think they even called each other boyfriend and girlfriend, and they might have kissed before marriage, which, I'm not judging them for, and seeing as how they're both in their 30s, like, it's perfectly fine to kiss your BF. We did a live stream about Jana's wedding, and not much came of it because when we did the stream, she had been married for like 2 minutes, so there wasn't a lot of information, but they look beautiful. Jana was living in a tiny house on the Duggar property, and it was really cute, but it was also kind of like, I'm not judging anybody for living with their parents, but it was like, once we know how things work at the Duggar house, it's kind of like, oh, you just kept her around for free labor, didn't you? Not good, but they live in Nebraska now, and her husband is some sort of blue-collar worker man, and that is a real career name.
We're just standing out here waiting, and lo and behold, look what we found. I really don't think anyone's using it, or that they would mind if we had it, so we may just have to take it home.
Are you joking? Please tell me you're being super funny and joking, and you're totally not going to take that dirty mattress off the side of the road. Please don't take it.
So we just realized it's not a king size.
It's not a king size.
No.
But it's got flowers to come with it.
But yeah, it does. It does have beautiful flowers, but I think because it's not a king size, we're going to have to probably go without it.
I don't know that we can go with anything but a king.
Yeah, if only it was that, we would just take it and embrace it in a heartbeat. But
Hey, Jana, do you need a code? I'll give you a Helix code. Please don't sleep on that.
nope.
I would love to see you embrace that.
Never. It's so disgusting.
You wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Well, now I'm offended, because how dare you call that mattress disgusting? I thought it was really cute that they had dancing at their weddings, because that's a long ways from the original Duggar rules of no dancing, which was a rule in IBLP, but I also think a lot of Baptists, they do not approve of dancing. So that's really nice that she got to do things her way. And I also like that she showed off a little shoulder and cleave. That's kind of risque, for a Duggar. So good for her. Also, I did cry while watching the footage because I love weddings and I love love. She's in her 30s, which is a very normal, reasonable age to get married. Thank you very much. There was just all this pressure on Jana over the years because she was the first daughter. So they thought that, all the kids would get married in birth order. But even Michelle is weird about it. And she's like, oh, we prayed for this day.
I just can't believe it's here. We've prayed and prayed and prayed for this day.
Then Jenna has a special first look with her dad, Jim Bob, and he can't help himself but be awkward as hell about it, and also bring up the fact that they've been just praying for years for this. Like, talk about pressure.
You look like a princess.
Oh.
Oh, I love you so much. I don't want to smear your makeup or anything.
No.
You look so amazing.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
What a beautiful bride.
Oh.
Well, I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
This is, we've been praying for. Matter of fact, at the first of the year, I prayed that God would provide this year your husband.
Oh,
And
thank you.
I'm so thankful for Stephen, so thankful for you. I know God is going to do just amazing things through y'all's lives. And
Well, thank you. Yeah, we're excited. So thank you so much for all that y'all have invested in my life, and just, to this point, and all the many more years too.
It just seems like he's like the CEO of a company and he's giving you your pizza and printed out award for being the best employee of the month. Like, it just seems like he's phoning it in and just saying generic stuff. And I'm sorry, Jana, if you're watching this, I'm sure you have a lovely relationship with Jim Bob. It's just, it just seemed cold and impersonal. Would you believe that it gets worse? Because she has multiple run-ins with Jim Bob. At one point, he's giving Jana and her husband Listerine strips because they're obsessed with kissing.
what kind you want?
Oh, wow. These are
Oh,
those
wow.
Yeah.
Those are the strong ones. Thanks, Pops. You
Yeah.
always have those. I
Yeah,
don't
you won't
really
need
care
that
for these.
about 30 minutes.
And the fact that Jim Bob's like, yeah, got your godly husband, you're going to have godly kids. Like, yep, that's about all you know about women, huh?
I love you.
Oh,
I'm so thankful for you and just the woman you become. And you're just like, you are a godly woman that's going to be a godly wife, have godly children, and you and Stephen are going to make a difference in this world. And just, I'm so blessed to have you as my daughter. I love you.
Thank you. Love you too.
Jed got married. I think we had talked about that, but he got married in 2021. His wife's name is Katie. They have a few kids. They actually have twins, which is interesting because Jed is a twin. Then sings my soul, my Savior comes to me. Hey, it's no loyalty song, but it's also a classic. And by the way, the guy singing is Jedediah's twin, Jeremiah, who is married to a woman named Hannah, who is actually the sister of Jana's new husband. And they got married in March of 2022. I don't know how I forgot to mention that Jed is the one that ran for office. He didn't win.
I'm a Christian and I will stand up for religious liberties. I'm pro-life and I will be an advocate for the unborn. And I will always defend our Second Amendment. With your prayer, support, and help, I look forward to serving you as a strong conservative voice in Little Rock.
He has a vlog channel with his wife. Most of them do, and they talked about that briefly.
For you, do you think about running for public office again?
So right now, where I am in life, I'm just enjoying where God has me. We've got a great wife, great little family, and just enjoying business. I'm still active in politics, I do watch it a lot. I try to help out local candidates.
And like every other Duggar, except maybe Jill, he just can't let go of that, loyalty to his family, which I'm not asking anybody to hate their own family, but it's just awkward when we know all of the skeletons in the Duggar closet and the kids are like, yeah, we had some tough times, but I still love my dad.
Okay, this one's probably mainly for you. What is the biggest misconception of your family?
Oh, you're brainwashed. Your parents control you. You're all going to have probably the same number of kids or have a lot of kids. I'm definitely not brainwashed. I have a mind of my own.
So do I.
My dad will sometimes we'll have a argument, disagreements where we'll just talk things out, and it's healthy. Like, that's really good.
Every family does.
My dad is a very humble man. My mom as well. She's just the sweetest thing ever. I've got some amazing parents. Are they, they aren't perfect. I know that, but I love them for who they are. And so I'm really grateful for my parents, the upbringing that I had. Of course it wasn't perfect, and I think a lot of people are seeing that now. Like, it's not, my parents for a long time, every time they would speak, every time they opened their mouth, they would say, we were not a perfect family. Now the world, of course, is seeing that.
Really big misconception is that like no one has a mind of their own and these things are like forced on them, and it's like we're actually happy. Like we love our lives and we make our own choices, and some of them are going to be similar to both of our parents and some will be different, and the same will happen with our kids too, and that's just the process of life.
There was also Justin and Claire, who got married in 2021. A lot of people remarked at how young they were. Like, what is the rush? There is no need to be getting married when you're 18. You got your whole life ahead of you. Lots of other marriages have occurred. Check out any of my other videos where I talk about Jessa, Jill, Ginger, Joy, John David, their whole Medicore thing. I even did a whole video about the Forsyth family and their family camp and all the safety issues that they have. That's not for today, but never forget. Jason Duggar, or Jace, I guess he's going by now. He married Madison, or Maddie, in October of 2024, and their wedding was cute, except I don't really know what is going on with Michelle here. Whatever this hand thing is, sound off in the comments below if you've ever seen or participated in a similar hand prayer line at a wedding. They're being playful about it, but like, she may or may not have been a fan of the show. If Duggars could only marry people that hadn't seen the show, there would be nobody that they could marry.
See, if I just walk right up and start talking to her immediately, and if I show too much interest, I was afraid that would frighten her away. You know, oh, another fanboy, you know, they've seen the show, he wants to date us or whatever.
Were you a fanboy who had seen the show who wanted to date her?
Yeah.
Technically.
Okay, wow.
So she would have seen you for what you were.
Modern love story, I guess.
How did you guys meet?
Yes, so at least like half of you guys wanted to know that. I am from Tennessee, so a lot of people think that we met through the Bates. We actually did not. We actually met through Instagram. There are rumors.
He slid in the DMs.
There are rumors that I am a crazy fangirl,
And
but
she is. No, I'm just kidding.
I am a fan of you now.
They get right into it.
No, I was not a crazy fangirl. I was not an avid fan growing up or anything, but like my family did watch a few episodes, like on a beach vacation randomly. So I was—
Yeah, sure. Okay. Hailey Bieber over here.
and I was just scrolling along, and it was a video of where each of the Duggar kids are now. And I was like, oh, I remember them. I've seen them before. And like Jace's face popped up, and I was like, oh, like he's cute. He's my age.
Yeah, it just so happened to. I've heard of the Duggars. If you're in this culture, if you're in this community, there's no way you haven't heard of the Duggars. And especially post 2023, everybody knows who the Duggars are.
Popped up, and I was like, oh, like he's cute. He's my age. Like, I don't know more about this guy. I like look him up on Instagram, as one does. And I was like, he is cute. He works out. Okay, so
Shirtless pics. I hear it.
yeah,
I can't handle this. This is too much for me.
the shirtless pic really got me. No, and then I'm scrolling, like I think it's the tour of your treehouse video.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool, and I liked it. Like, that was about it.
Honestly, I don't even hate that. Building a treehouse is a great way to attract the ladies.
I didn't think anything was gonna come of that. Like, he was just a cute guy on Instagram. I was like, he's kind of cool. He posts cool content.
So the way that we met, and from my side, is pretty crazy. I have Instagram, and I occasionally get on it, but I'm not real tech savvy.
Okay, they're both trying to justify sliding into the DMs of each other. Who hasn't looked up a listicle of what the Duggars are up to now? I know I have. And then be like, oh, I'll go follow him. I don't know. It seems like maybe somebody purposed to marry him.
Instagram. So I got on it one time, and I was clicking like the message button, and instead of clicking that, I guess I clicked like the heart button, which I didn't know that.
Okay, I'm calling it. That's my finger slipped.
Which I didn't know that was notifications. So I started looking through it, and the girl that was at the top, who had liked maybe the treehouse video and who had just followed me, was Maddie Grace. Your name was at the very top, but it didn't just say like whatever, Maddie Jones. It said, it had like her, her profile picture, and next to that was with big, large letters, MADS.
Yeah.
I don't know what those are called. Like,
the bubble
the
letters
bubble
did it
letters.
for him. I was
Yeah.
just that cool. No.
So, well, I clicked on it and thinking, dang, is that like a new setting that Instagram's doing? I would love to like put my initials on mine. And clicked on it and then quickly figured out that it was just something that she did. And I was like, dang, she's pretty hot. And she's a Christian. So I reached out to her.
I don't know how I'm gonna handle this. This is too much.
That's the big thing. She's a Christian.
You saw the
And
Bible verse
the
in my
Bible
bio.
verse that
Really
me.
got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll give her a follow. And then about a week later,
Secret Lives of Duggar Wives. I'm calling it.
Yeah.
so I was like, I'll give her a follow. And then about a week later, I texted her around like New Year's.
Yes. Jace gave me his phone number and was like, let's text instead of being
Yeah.
in the Instagram DMs.
I don't do very well with that.
He gave me his number and we just kind of started texting. And we were friends. We were good as friends, but we were awkward.
Yeah, it was rough because like the FaceTime calls were really strange. And for both of us, we were like trying to be, it's just odd when you don't know someone.
We were so nervous that we
Sure.
had no personality.
Yeah.
It just wasn't working.
Just
There was
wouldn't
like
happen.
not much chemistry,
chemistry,
and we
yeah.
were like, I don't really know about this. But you're like, maybe we should just be friends. And at that point it clicked and I was like, okay, well, now that we're just friends, I can really be myself.
Once we stepped away from that whole thing and we truly were just ourselves, then it was like, I was like, whoa, like this girl is legit. She is awesome. She loves the Lord.
Yeah.
And she's like normal. And
She's normal. Hey, normal's in the eye of the beholder, man.
that's when it clicked for me. And I was like, okay, I really love this girl. And so I had to backtrack because I had already said, hey, let's just be friends. I was like, well, why don't I just come down and visit you and let's just hang out? And so we did. I went down to her hometown, just hit it off during that like weekend. And we had such a good time getting to just talk through literally everything. It was so great.
Yeah, they did ask about our first date, so
Oh,
we can
yeah.
just answer that now. So our first date was not really anything super crazy official. He calls our second date our actual first date.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I will give you grace because our first date was after Jace had drove about 12 hours straight. The only thing around is like this little pizza joint, and it's a good pizza joint. But we just go down. It's very chill vibe. I mean, it's a college town, and so we go there, and Jace just starts cutting his pizza with a fork and a knife, and I'm like, oh no, maybe I jumped the gun. Maybe he actually is crazy. Like, there's no way.
He's so quirky. You can't take him anywhere.
But turns
oh,
out,
and I brought her a fork and a knife too, so
Yes.
she could do it. So you started
I
actually
started
cutting
doing
it with
it.
a fork.
What
Yeah.
do you do when somebody else is cutting with a fork and a knife? You're like, well, I'm not going to be rude and I'll use my manners.
I quickly got to where I was like, wait a second, what am I doing? And we both laughed about it. And, I think it was great that we were able to just be real with each other. Next question to go in from there would be, was Maddie a part of the IBLP?
That is
We're
a good
from
question.
totally different circles. So
That is a
are
good
you
question.
A part of any of that stuff?
So, no, I actually did not know what the IBLP was.
Well, I've got a documentary that you could watch.
But I think for me, I really wanted someone that was not from my circles, that had a different take on life. You've grown up in public school and you've done all that. I grew up as a home.
Doing all that.
So the question everyone's been waiting for, did we kiss before our wedding day?
We did. I grew up in my family that was against the rules.
Okay, that's kind of a shock.
But, for Maddie and I, that's not a conviction that we have. I love my parents. I think they're great people. But it's a rule that we set for ourselves in our relationship through dating and engagement. And it was something we were okay with.
And growing up in my family, kissing was not against the rules. I mean, it wasn't encouraged to, go out and kiss everyone. It was special, but it wasn't against the rules either. So
Good for you guys. It's hard to do Duggar updates because I don't stalk them as much as I used to. I really don't keep up with their social media. I only see the major events and controversies, and so I'm gonna miss stuff. So I apologize for that moving forward. Also, we're about to talk about Josh for a few minutes, so heads up. If you want to skip it, here's the timestamp. Earlier this year in May Josh Duggar asked a federal judge for an attorney to help file a motion to vacate his 2021 CSAM conviction, according to court documents. And it is notable that he said he cannot afford a lawyer on his own. So that makes me think maybe he's trying to get a public defender to help him since he can't afford a lawyer, and that's one of his constitutional rights. Duggar, 37, filed a motion without an attorney in the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Arkansas on Tuesday. The defendant requests counsel for the limited purpose of reviewing the record, evaluating possible constitutional claims, and if meritorious grounds exist, preparing and filing a motion, Duggar wrote in a 7-page filing. He wrote this himself. That's very Duggar-coded. Duggar, who is currently serving more than 12 years, continued in his filing saying, as time has unfolded, new legal theories and strategies have emerged in public discourse that may be relevant to the defendant's case. What could that possibly be? Duggar wrote that in light of these developments, he is seeking to consult with counsel to fully evaluate the potential of these emerging strategies and how they may support a motion for relief. In 2023, a federal appeals court rejected Duggar's appeal of his sentence, and last year the Supreme Court declined to hear an appeal. Duggar said that since he is incarcerated, he can't afford a lawyer on his own.
New tonight at 5:30, the Supreme Court rejected an appeal from Joshua Duggar. He was convicted of downloading child sexual abuse images back in 2021. Duggar is the oldest sibling of the Northwest Arkansas-based family who all starred in the hit TLC show 19 Kids and Counting. Josh was arrested in April of 21 after police in Little Rock found child sexual abuse images were being shared by a computer traced to him. Duggar was sentenced to 12.5 years in prison. His attorneys have tried to argue that they should have been able to ask about the prior sex offense conviction of a former employee who also had access to the computer the images were found on. But lower courts have upheld Duggar's conviction, and the Supreme Court did not elaborate on why it denied the appeal today.
And then earlier this month, June 2025, Josh was denied legal counsel for the post-conviction challenge, the one that we read about in May. Judge Christy Comstock said Duggar's motion to appoint counsel lacked sufficient detail and failed to justify the request under federal law. And remember, he wrote it himself, so maybe that was why. Courts have discretion to appoint counsel in certain post-conviction cases, but only if the petition requests a non-frivolous claim and other factors such as legal or factual complexity warrant assistance. The judge found that those standards were not met in Duggar's case. Duggar had previously stated he could not afford a lawyer on his own due to incarceration. His appeals were later rejected by both a federal court in 2023 and U.S. Supreme Court in 2024. And apparently his sentence got extended by a few months, which could mean a lot of things. Most likely he got in trouble. I found an article from KNWA. It says that Josh's sentence was extended because he had a contraband cell phone. And then I was only able to confirm it through Fox News that he is currently in solitary confinement. Some other updates. Amy Duggar, Amy King now, she is writing a memoir. And let's see, when is it coming out? October 14th. I don't know if I'm going to read it or not. I've read a lot of Duggar books that suck. Both Ginger and Jill had significant help with their books. They had co-writers. I'm not mad at them for that. That makes a lot of sense with how they grew up, that they would need significant help writing a book. And I did like Jill's a lot better than Ginger's. Jill's book is the most anti-Duggar of all of them, and that's her family. She's not going to completely shit on them, but she does expose how horrible Jim Bob was, and she talks about how much it sucked to be taken advantage of and bossed around by TLC. And Ginger talked about Bill Gothard and IBLP being a cult, but most of the book is about how she's disentangling instead of deconstructing because she's still a Christian, but she found the right kind of Christianity, aka Calvinism and John MacArthur. People have a lot of feelings about Amy because it feels like she's doing things for clout instead of like doing things for the right reason, you know. And of course, I'm just a judgmental person online, but you know, could you see it? Amy Duggar King is using her God-given voice to speak out and tell all memoir. Holy disruptor, shattering the shiny facade while getting louder with the truth. I don't know what Amy's religion is. We saw that Ginger has made a couple books where like they will talk smack about IBLP, but they're still firmly Christian, firmly conservative.
I'm just curious, what do you see right now as the biggest cultural challenge facing Christians today?
Christian women have been fed this steady diet of just self-esteem, like Christianized self-esteem. And so A lot of women are completely unequipped theologically, apologetically, to contend truthfully with those issues without looking at them from an emotional perspective. If my empathy for them, if my feeling how they feel leads me to affirm lies or to validate delusions or to support sin, then my empathy has become toxic.
I don't know if Amy's like progressive or anything. I highly doubt it, but just because she wears pants and has alcohol at her wedding does not mean that she's a liberal. Amy, 38, will now share her unfiltered testimony of breaking free. If you've ever been silenced, you can find your God-given voice, overbearing leadership, toxic environments, unfair standards, and unrealistic expectations. There are many ways that people abuse, manipulate, and silence others. The worst part is the abuser is often someone you love. Amy King knows what it's like to be coerced and have her voice silenced. Amy was branded Crazy Cousin Amy, an identity she didn't choose but was forced to live into. She enjoyed being the cousin that was different. She wanted to be known as like the rebellious Duggar. Her authentic voice was taken from her as she was told to put on a shiny, happy smile for the camera. The gaslighting continued as she was told off camera, "You're too much and you're not enough." However, in the years since the Duggar family collapse, Amy has intentionally dissociated from the toxic family environment, which has helped her discover how to be a holy disruptor and make life-changing decisions for her well-being. Through Holy Disruptor, readers can learn to trust your instincts, see clearly in a fog of lies, and unearth and use your authentic voice, among other approaches. Ultimately, methods will help allow readers the ability to use your voice. God loves you, and he's given you an authentic voice to use for his glory, the synopsis adds. No matter what you've been told or how you've been manipulated in the past, freedom is waiting for you today. It's time to use your voice. I'm pretty sure Amy did go through abuse in her family, and of course we know what was happening in the Duggar side of the family. So it's not like she doesn't have interesting or important things to say. I just don't know if this is going to be a bestseller. You know what I mean? I don't know if people want to read this. More updates on that when it happens. And on that note of shiny happy disruptors or whatever, Amazon has released a statement. They are putting out Shiny Happy 2 being released this July, which is not going to be about IBLP. I am not in this season. I don't know who the cast is. It looks interesting, but, you know, I don't have any insider info for you guys. It's going to be more about the 90s and teen mania and Acquire the Fire. There was some talk about some, let's say, interesting things going on Jessa Duggar's vlog channel, so I had to check it out. And right off the bat, got a kid sleeping in the closet. It's a big closet. It's spacious. It's not a baby cage or anything. And I'm not going to shame anybody for not having the money to have a million bedrooms, but we know she's got the money, and it just doesn't make any sense why she would do this.
Good morning, George. Good morning, buddy. George's bedroom is currently our big family closet that's right off from our room, because sometimes he still will wake up in the night.
Okay, for a fundamentalist family that doesn't like Harry Potter, it sure is interesting that she's got her child sleeping in the fucking closet. And fuck J.K. Rowling. Jessa, I was rooting for you.
And be upset, so it's easy for us to just have him right here.
No shame in, you know, not having a lot of space, and you have to get creative when you have kids, but like, they have the money. Like, they have the money for a bedroom for all of their children, and you put them in the closet. There has to be an in-between of the way that she grew up, which is 10 kids in one room and a child in the closet. Like, there's gotta be a better way. I don't know. It just seems gratuitous.
Down in his crib. The other thing I always have to do, I always feel like I got it. Can anybody else do this?
I didn't believe it. Let's see that again.
The other thing I always have to do, I always feel like I got it. Does anybody else
No.
do this?
No.
The floor to sweep up excess hair after brushing. The other thing that I've added into my
I am shocked and appalled. I guess you could say, well, she took the dirty stuff out of the brush before she started brushing her hair again. I get it. It's not like an item that has to be sterilized, but I generally try not to use a brush for the floor, the bathroom floor, and then immediately put it in my hair. Even if I took the stuff out, I just really wish that she hadn't done that, okay? And I mean, listen, sometimes there's a gray area, okay? I will brush my hair and I'll put my brush on the bed and then my cat will rub his face on the brush. I don't like to let him do that. I take it back. But I don't know. Is what I did as bad as this? Anyway, seed partner, what? That's what was hiding under my webcam?
My morning routine is taking a probiotic and prebiotic. So a few months ago, I got DSO1 symbiotic, which means it's prebiotic and probiotic together.
Does she have a paid promotion on this? I'm gonna check. Oh my god. You have to declare if it's a paid promotion when you upload the video or you can get in trouble. And I'm not gonna report her because I'm not a narc, but you have to declare that. Let's see, the last update would be Jill's hair. Now, I'm not trying to come for Jill and say that she's racist or problematic because of this, although I am calling her problematic for her costume last year of being Trump trash and some other conservative ideas that she has. But people are talking about Jill's new hair. She's calling it hippie hair. And I understand her vision. I also think that this borderline is cultural appropriation. On further inspection, I'm not really quite sure what Jill's going for with this look. Obviously, she thinks it's boho or hippie, but I don't know. It's a little more Kesha than it is Counting Crows. I may have spoken too soon. All of these people have problematic hair. And I would caution Jill to be very careful that she does not venture into the realm of cultural appropriation. I'm not a hair expert. I don't know if what she has is considered locks, but there's a reason why cultural appropriation, especially with hair, is such a big deal. It is really offensive when especially white people say, oh, it's just hair, because it's not. Hair is political, and Black people historically and currently get discriminated against because of their hair. They can get fired, they are called all sorts of horrible names, and there have been laws against them having their hair in certain ways. It's problematic when white people just do stuff because they think it's cool and fun, when in reality, there are groups that have been discriminated against for the same exact thing. And they're told it's bad and unkempt or whatever. And we look at Jill and we go, oh, how cute and carefree. How hippie chic of you. I don't think that Jill did it to be offensive. She probably thinks it looks great on everyone. And she's just trying to have a good time. But remember, this is a conservative Trump voting, make America healthy again type crunchy woman. You know what I mean? Like, little bit of an eye roll from me on that. So yeah, that was some Duggar updates, a few clips. If I missed any like major Duggar moments, go ahead and leave it in the comment section. I will make a second video. Don't you worry. Cause thank you, Michelle, for paying my bills. Every time these people do something fucked up, I'll just make a video. So hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you soon. I don't know when. Like I said, we got surgeries and events and shit we gotta do, and it's a wet, hot summer outside. And also, I did want to give you guys a special Easter egg if you've stuck around this long on the upcoming videos. Now that he's dead, and I'm still thinking about how I want to do a video about vacation Bible schools, like as a concept. We've got some really cool interviews coming up, and I just have a bunch of topics on the horizon that I'm gonna cover. Just keep an eye out. We have new merch, including, thank you, Michelle. Lots of new Pride stuff. Rudy, the Pride Demon, militant homosexual hat, which is a Anita Bryant reference, by the way.
Last year, Dade County voters overwhelmingly repealed an ordinance granting special privileges to homosexuals. But the militant homosexuals don't take no for an answer.
Atheist Nightmare, which is a It's a Kirk Cameron and Ray Comfort reference because he had that video where Ray Comfort was like, the banana is God's perfect creation because it's perfectly suited to fit in your hand and it curves to the mouth.
Behold the atheist's nightmare. Now, if you study a well-made banana, you'll find on the far side there are 3 ridges. On the close side, 2 ridges. If you get your hand ready to grip a banana, you'll find on the far side there are 3 grooves, on the close side 2 grooves. The banana and the hand are perfectly made one for the other. You'll find the maker of the banana, Almighty God, has made it with a non-slip surface. It has outward indicators of inward contents: green, too early; yellow, just right; black, too late. Now, if you go to the top of the banana, you'll find, as with the soda can makers, they placed a tab at the top. So God has placed a tab at the top. When you pull the tab, the contents don't squirt in your face. You'll find the wrapper, which is biodegradable, has perforations. Notice how gracefully it sits over the human hand. Notice it has a point at the top for ease of entry. It's just the right shape for the human mouth. It's chewy, easy to digest, and it's even curved toward the face to make the whole process so much easier.
God Loves You in a Gay Way, which is a Sister Cindy reference.
And I love all gay people, just not in a gay way.
So, do you love the Jennonites in a gay way?
I love them in an exclusively gay way. All fun. It's all referential. Of course, we got classics. Overweight, Sexually Broken Loser, which is kind of a play on some things that Girl Defined says. But other than that, Patreon, YouTube, if you want to subscribe, if you want to give us money, I understand if you don't. Times are tough. Who knows what's going to happen, but I love you guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.